All right, we're going to talk about how to mount the 6.5-inch speaker version of the flat-out bar lower. Pretty straightforward. This is one that is put together already, and when you get this, all you're going to get the primary body, the main body of the lower itself, and you're going to get an extension arm and a couple of extenders. This is really, really simple to put together. If it's not put together already, it's because you need to put this in, because wrapping it wise and shipping it, this will wrap up and fit inside here so we can get the box smaller to save you on shipping. But very, very, very simple. So what you're going to get in the box is you're going to get a lower itself wrapped up, and inside that you will have a extension arm, all right? And the extension arm will be inside here wrapped up. It'll come out, and you're just simply going to put this thing onto the bike, onto the lower, just like this, bolt it down, and you can put it on the bike. Once you bolt it on, you don't need to take this back off again. You're ready to go, all right? So with that, you're going to get 2 3/4-inch bolts, and you're going to get 2 1.5-inch bolts. Okay, so we're only going to use these 3 for right now, the 2 3/4 and the 1 1.5. All right. So when you put this together, what you'll see is this extension arm, at least in this particular case, has a couple of openings here with some covers on it that are bolted down. These are for electrical connectors, because the body of the lower itself is going to have a hole in it, which in this current version, when you look at this video, runs into the body inside of the lower itself, into the cavity space of our port, okay, because these all come ported by default. And so you can run your speaker wire up through there, which is great, but it's going to run from the frame of the bike, so you don't have a wire sticking out anywhere, okay? So this is set up for 2 electrical ports. So you may have a top with a fog light on it. So one of these will be fog light, and one of these will be speaker. It doesn't matter which one you do, as long as you just remember which wires you got, okay? So you would just take these off and put your connectors in here that we give you, and then you plug it into the body, the quick connect portion of the frame, which we also supply. All right, so to put this thing on, you probably run your wires in here first, and then run them through the holes and go to mount this on. Or you can mount this on, you can run the wires through, it's not that hard, or you can take it off and do the wire. So put the extension arm on the body, then I've got 3 bolts here. I'm gonna take my 1.5, drop it in this hole here in the center, and the 2 3/4 are gonna go here. All right, so that's gonna go there. And I'm gonna line this up and put it on. I'm gonna put my screwdriver down in here, and hopefully I can grab it real easy. There we go. Okay, and then once that one's started in there, it doesn't have to, not all the way, then I'm gonna put my 2 3/4-inch bolts in here, because those are easier to line up. And I'm gonna bolt those down. Okay, and then now that those are tight, back to my center. And tighten it down nice and tight. All right, so now we're on. It's quite simple to do. Now we're ready to go on the bike. Now, before we go on the bike, these are the little extra extenders. And each one of these extenders is 3/4 of an inch. So you're gonna get a couple of these per side as well. What this does is it allows you to take these plates off, they'd be off anyway if you're doing electrical stuff, but you're able to take these off and put up to 2 of these or more on, so that they all look part of the extension arm, okay? But you're able to move the lower out a little bit if you want it a little bit away from the frame of the bike. These have slits on each side, and the reason why they're not solid is so that in case you've mounted this and you've got your electrical connections already in there and you don't want to unhook everything to do this, because that would be aggravating, you can actually pull them out and slip them around each one of these sides and put your next one on, okay? That's how that works. And so the way these go on is, you can see this one, for example, this one's set up with the brass inserts already, ready to go for the electrical connections. This one's not. In this particular case, it's not needed, if you think about it, because you're either going to put one on or you're going to put two on, and so you wouldn't actually need it, okay? But you can see how they line up, right? They're going to line up with the holes behind them. So in this case, we're going to put this one on here to line those holes up, and then we would put a second one in case I wanted to come up that far from the body of the bike. Then I would drop my other 1.5 inch bolt through here. Actually, yeah, through the center, right? And that would go into this brass insert right here, right? So, so we'll put that in like that. Go, and once I tighten that down, there we go. And then my quick connect plugs would be right here, and now I've got another 1.5 inches, which really can't see, extended. Let's put it on the bike. Okay, here we are at my 2023.5 CBO Road Glide. And on this particular Road Glide, I've taken the chopped bar off, and I've replaced it with a flat out bar, right? Now, the result of that is with the 8-inch lowers, currently these 8-inch lowers, this particular model, and there's several different models of these. So this particular set is set out with 2 extension pieces. I got quick connects on here, and I've got my everything plugged in and automatically working with the wiring. Now with the breather, I've got all this room in here, plenty of room and stuff, but as far as distance goes, from the air filter to the speaker, as you can see, I'm right at it, okay? Because I've got a big speaker that comes out a little bit, so an extra 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch. And so I've got this thing pushed over a little bit out, okay? But this actually looks great, and for me, and for what I'm doing for my bike, I like it, okay? Now, somebody else is gonna be a little bit different. Some of you guys want the lower to be closer, some are gonna want a little further out, right? So in any event, this particular set that you're seeing here is a mock-up demo with the 6.5 inch. So while this one's flush, this one with the smaller top for the 6.5 inch speaker is gonna end up being a little bit further away from the breather to work with a heavy breather. And then of course there's another top by the time you watch this will have, which actually goes out even further out. So to mount this is so simple, all right? So we're gonna put this on, but you gotta get an idea from our main video of how this thing comes off. So on the flat out bar, you have the one bolt. The one bolt, which comes out of the end cap, the Harley end cap, which is stock with this flat out bar, all right? That is all that holds this whole thing on, all right? The extension arm pushes up against the frame of the bike, which then is the other point of contact, and we have a compressive force with this bolt and this end cap. So to take it off, on mine, I have the connectors in place. So I'm just gonna grab hold of the connector piece and the lower itself, and it's just gonna pop right out. Just like that, okay? And that's how fast you can actually take one of these things off, all right? Now I put my end cap back on, and I can go for a ride, right, without any lower on there. That's what's great on this. Okay, now, so for this particular spot, we're gonna see how the 6.5 ends up going on here. So the 6.5 now, I got my end cap off. I'm gonna put my 6.5 inch lower on, and all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come back on here, same hole, and I'm gonna go over to where my connectors are. And it's gonna go in, okay? Now I'm gonna put my end cap back on. That fast. I'm mounted. Solid, very solid. I am ready to go. Now, as far as distance goes, now what happens is we're gonna take a look at a couple of distances here. So now what happens is with the 6.5 inch top here, with this lid, I've got more room with my breather, and I'm set out some from the bike itself, okay? So looking at this gives me an extra couple of inches here from the very tip bottom of the breather to the lid itself, I have almost 2 inches of space, as you can see there. And at the midpoint, I'm pushing 3 inches of space, all right? And then the new top actually will slide it out a little bit more than that. But there's some gives and takes on these. And then of course, with the extension arms in place, you can see I have my main extension arm here. And in this case, I got 2 extenders and then my connector at the actual frame itself. And I got plenty of space in between here. Now, if I'm the type of rider that I want less wind coming through, then I can take out one or both of these extension pieces, and then you can see that it'll get that much closer. All right. And that's it. As you can see, super simple to mount the 6.5-inch speaker lid, and gives you a bit more space on this particular bike than the 8-inch speaker top. Good riding, and obviously reach out to us if you have any questions.